Hi everybody, today is August the 16th and welcome to the Diablo Daily. Today, before I get started with the news and stuff, I'd like to go ahead and let you guys know about my site. The site is diablodaily.com. It's very easy to remember, and it's not really anything special. It's just my blog where I talk about Diablo. It's basically like a news site, not quite like Diablo fans or Diablo Inc. gamers. It's more of a personal blog and news release type of deal where you get to see what's going on with my world of Diablo, and you can go check it out if you want. You can also go to facebook.com and like me there. The link to find the link for that, you'll have to go to diablodaily.com first, and then you can. There's a contacts list under the contacts. There's my YouTube link, and there's my Facebook link, and then there's my Twitter link. The Facebook link is not straightforward, and that's because I need 25 likes in order to get a URL that's appropriate. What I want to do is get a facebook.com/DiabloDaily instead of / all this other random crap that I don't like. It's not a very good URL. So if you can, please go like me on Facebook. I will keep that up to date. Every time something comes out, I'll obviously post about it there. And of course, I have also the Twitter account, which is twitter.com/DiabloDaily. So whatever means of social media that you like to use, you have Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Although YouTube is not really considered a social media outlet. You know what I'm saying. So I'd like to go ahead and get started today with the news that came out last night. Kind of under the radar. Basically, they were all tweets. And so let's go ahead and get started. So the beta is still going to be, looks like it's going to be a little bit longer than I had expected and what I think others had expected. We really wanted to come out this month, but I don't see that really happening, unfortunately. Because somebody asked Diablo on Twitter about just when it's going to be out, and he said, we're working on it. It's going to be a little while. In the meantime, watch out for info coming from Gamescom tomorrow, which is now today. So Gamescom is today. If there's any news whatsoever coming out of Gamescom, you will know about it at diablodaily.com. Check it out, and I will be posting there as soon as possible, and if the information is good enough or if it's relevant enough, I'll also make a new video and stuff like that. So, and let's see, this is the death penalty. So right now the death penalty is at 10% durability loss for all your items. It's a lot less stringent than it was for Diablo 2. In Diablo 2, what it was in Nightmare it was a 5% experience loss, and in Hell it was a 10% experience loss, as well as 500 gold per character level. Death took its toll, as it said. I think it was what it said. But if you went back to get your corpse, it was 75% experience back from that loss. So it's not too big of a deal. But I want to know what you guys feel about that. To me, it seems a little bit simple, a little bit easy to just have a 10% durability loss for death. The experience loss from Diablo 2 was a real deterrent not to die. So I think that's all the important things that came out of yesterday's news, and now that that's done, obviously there's Gamescom coming up, so if anything comes out of there, again, like I said, stay tuned and I will let you guys know exactly what's going on. Alright, so I want to go ahead and talk about skills. Skills. Okay, so if you don't know yet, I'm not sure why you would even be here, but so skills have changed. There's no longer points. You don't put points into skills like there were points that you put into Diablo 2, like there were in all games, pretty much all games that I can remember. But you just put skill points into skills. It's pretty basic and simple. So they've decided to remove skill points altogether. There are no skill points. You just basically take a skill from your skill book, or whatever it's called in the GUI. I don't know what it is, considered to be. You just take it from a list. You take the skill and you put it in your current active skills. and you just have the skill, and you don't upgrade the skill at all. You just put it in your list of skills that you can use, your active skill list. So, and you can have a maximum of 6. So, and you can have a maximum of 3 passive skills. So where do skills get their power, you may be asking? Well, they get their power from alternate sources instead of points. You'll be able to upgrade your skills by items that you wear and by certain attributes that you get throughout the world. And also, of course, there's the runes, which alter the skills, and those alterations are other ways of making them more powerful or making them different in some way. So, man, this is a really huge change. I actually kind of expected there to be more of an outcry from people from this one, but really there hasn't been a whole lot of controversy, but there has been some. Jay Wilson probably gives the best account for why they made these changes, so I want to go over Force Strategy Gaming's video interview with Jay Wilson, and he describes basically the reasons why they decided to go with this new skill system. He says the problem with the skill system before, the point system, is that players will dump all their points into 1 or 2 skills to make them more powerful. And they were going for a game that caters to having a lot more skills, up to like 6 instead of just like 2, which just for them seems more of a spam fest, and they don't want you to just click two spells the entire game, because that turns into boringness. I don't even know if boringness is a word, but I said it anyway. Another problem with the old skill point system is that players would respec from the lesser cool skills into more cool skills when they leveled up, and it kind of trivialized the skill point system, where, oh well, you just put all these points into Magic Missile, but you don't really care about Magic Missile when you hit level 6. When you get Arcane Orb, you just respec all those points into Arcane Orb, and it just kind of made it so, well, what was even the point of going that route? And so people don't really want to stick with one skill once they get cooler ones, was the reasoning behind, well, we'll just let players do whatever the hell they want, and as a result, they'll be able to change whatever they want and go for the skills that they want when they get them, and there's no penalty for that, which I think is great. He also said that it revealed a further truth about how people play Diablo. Players instinctively want to swap out those cooler skills, which is what I just said. So this system encourages those changes. Another thing to note is that players will gain access to skills every level. It's like every time you gain a level, you're going to get access to a new skill, which you can swap out in your active skills. The great thing about the skill system is that players are incentivized to stay within the game to access and the information that's provided within the game, instead of going to some website, which is basically just creating like a cookie cutter build, is what people like to say. You go to a website, you figure out what's optimal from somebody who did a whole bunch of math and figured out, oh, if you do this, this is the best, and it obviously has a good area of effect damage or whatever. And the new system, as Jay Wilson said in Force's video, basically says that players will be incentivized to stay in the game, to intuitively use the information that's given to them to figure out exactly how they want to build their character, which I think is fantastic. If this is only assuming if that's actually going to work out. But even so, I can't possibly see this being a perfect, like a utopian system. I'm sure that people will still go to websites. They're still going to want to find out optimum builds. They're still going to want to find how to maximize their output damage and how to maximize their magic find. And they're still going to have a lot of use for websites to go to, and that's not going to go away. But I think what Jay Wilson is trying to get at is that as a player, you can use your intuition to build a character that you think is cool. Try it out. If it doesn't work, that's cool too. You can always swap out your skills if it fails. So in the end, I think the system is going to be freaking badass. Actually, I think it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to be able to actually I can't wait for beta, because I'll be able to see if this is going to be awesome, where when I hit level 10, am I going to be able to swap out the skills that I want and it still be meaningful, and are the items actually, how much are the items going to affect? God, I can't wait for beta. God, I can't wait. Oh man, it's going to be awesome. One criticism about the system that somebody on the official forums brought up was, are you going to be likely to swap out your skills based on the enemies that you expect to be in an area? So let's say that you're coming upon Diablo or something, and they ask, well, if I'm coming upon Diablo, I know that I need a lot of magic missile for Diablo because he's one boss. Magic missile is very powerful against this boss. So what's going to deter players from swapping out the skill very often? And Bashiok replies with, you're far more likely to see a player sticking with a build and working to become better at it than constantly swapping out. It's not a rule, it's player psychology, so there's going to be a wide range of variables, but it's what we found to be true not only for Diablo 3, but a lot of other games out there with similar free swapping builds. So I don't know if that's really a good answer, to be honest with you. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Bashiok and everything, but that doesn't really sound like an answer. It doesn't sound like it's a true answer. It's not really going. They basically said they're not going to deter that at all. They're not going to prevent that activity from happening at all. They're not discouraging it. So you can obviously always change out your skills, and if you need to change your skill for a particular boss, you can do that. Or a particular mob, you can do that, and they're not going to be able to deter that. But the only response that they really have is, well, players are not really going to do that, because that's not what the player psychology, quote-unquote, that's not what the player psychology does. That's not what players usually do. But I don't know if that's really going to be a deterrent, especially for the hardcore characters. Hardcore characters are going to want to prepare for a battle before they go into it and make sure that they don't die. So I don't know. That's I guess it's still up for debate. So I think that'll end today's Diablo Daily. But before I go, I want you all to go to, if you can, if you like the podcast, you like everything that I'm doing here, please go to DiabloDaily.com and like me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, all that fun stuff. And yeah, check out the site, see if you tell me what you like, what you don't like, make comments, whatever you can do to promote what I'm doing, because obviously I'm doing this all for free, it's for fun, but the more participation I have from you guys, the more incentive I have to make it even that much more cool. So go support me there. And I will see you guys tomorrow.